Following the retractions of two star witnesses, incoming Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla says dropping charges against jailed opposition Senator Laila de Lima is possible if it's the only recourse. In a Rappler Talk interview, Remulla says while dropping charges against de Lima will be the last recourse, he will let prosecutors do their job.
But we have to really keep our eyes open on people who may not be behaving properly.
It's an expression of openness not seen from the outgoing Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara, who stood firm on their case, saying retraction should be left to the judgment of the court. So far, the star witness, former Corrections Chief Rafael Ragos, and co-respondent Ronnie Dayan have retracted their earlier testimonies. Kerwin Espinosa, alleged Visayan drug lord who had accused de Lima of the same crimes during congressional investigations, also retracted. All of them said they were threatened and harassed into making the testimonies against the senator, a fierce critic of President Rodrigo Duterte.
Let the chips fall where they may. Recantations are there. They're part of jurisprudence. Maybe you're aware of them already. The most said line is that recantations are frowned upon by the courts. As I said before, it's a red flag. It makes you review the way that everything was processed.
De Lima has been in jail for 5 years for what she calls trumped-up drug charges. Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. will take his oath as the 17th President of the Philippines at the National Museum on June 30. Incoming Presidential Management Staff Secretary Naida Angpin says on Thursday, June 2, the venue matches their camp's requirements for Marcos's inauguration. The Marcos camp calls the National Museum a historic venue. The building was formerly known as the Old Legislative Building and has been the inauguration venue of 3 former Philippine presidents. Marcos's father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr., also presided over the Senate as Senate President in the same building. But the building is also a landmark of activism, where protesters trooped to oppose Marcos Sr.'s leadership after he won a second presidential term in 1969. The initial plan was for Marcos to take his oath at the Quirino Grandstand, the same venue as the dictator's inauguration, but the area still houses several COVID-19 field hospitals. Marcos was elected by 31 million people, or an overwhelming 58% of the votes, the first majority president to be elected in the country.
Need more context, clarity, and perspective? Get the full picture with Rappler Plus. With exclusive content and events, you'll get an opportunity to discuss issues with reporters, experts, and featured guests while helping Rappler continue its fearless journalism. Join now.
Pharmally Corporate Secretary and Treasurer Mohit Dargani and Director Lincoln Ong are released from the Pasay City Jail Thursday, June 2, a day after the Senate adjourned session for the final time under the 18th Congress. Senate President Vicente Soto III signs 2 separate release orders for Dargani and Ong, who were earlier cited in contempt by the Blue Ribbon Committee for refusing to cooperate in its investigation. The 2 Pharmally executives were probed on the anomalies hounding the multi-billion peso pandemic contracts forged by President Rodrigo Duterte's government with Pharmally. Dargani and Ong were sent to the Pasay City Jail in November 2021 after they failed to give the exact location of the allegedly missing financial documents of their company. Senator Richard Gordon, who led the committee hearings, recommends the filing of criminal cases against the Pharmally officials involved in the scandal and even against President Rodrigo Duterte. But the Senate adjourned session on Wednesday without taking any formal actions. Gordon needed at least 11 signatures to be able to sponsor the report for plenary action, but only 9 signed the report. The senators who have yet to affix their signature include Sonny Angara, Grace Poe, Cynthia Villar, Sherwin Gatchalian, Lito Lapid, Pia Cayetano, Bongo, Ramon Bong Revilla Jr., Amy Marcos, Francis Tolentino, and Senate Majority Leader Mig Zubiri. In an interview with ANC, Senator Amy Marcos admits she was surprised President Duterte was included in Gordon's draft report. She says the report went above and beyond the evidence. Meta Platform's Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg announces on Thursday, June 2, she will be leaving the company. Sandberg has been with Meta, formerly known as Facebook, for 14 years, and is the most recognizable public face of the company next to CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Sandberg has seen the company go through several controversies, including the Cambridge Analytica scandal, which revealed how Facebook was used to manipulate the 2016 US elections. Sandberg also testified before US Congress in 2018, addressing the foreign interference in US elections. Zuckerberg writes a post for Sandberg on his page and announces Meta's chief growth officer Javier Olivan will be succeeding Sandberg. Facebook remains one of the most criticized social media platforms and experiences continuing pressure from governments. It continues to have an outsized role in shaping opinions and is accused of abetting disinformation for profit. Actor Johnny Depp achieves a near-total victory on Wednesday, June 1, in a defamation suit against ex-wife actress Amber Heard. Depp wins more than $10 million in damages, while Heard receives $2 million. He initially sued Heard for $50 million, arguing she defamed him when she called herself a domestic abuse victim in an opinion piece. Following his win, Depp says, "The jury gave me my life back," in a statement. Heard's allegations affected Depp's movie projects. Meanwhile, Heard expresses her disappointment and says how evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. She also mentions how the verdict of this case is a setback for those who speak up about violence against women. Depp and Heard met in 2011 while filming The Rum Diary and wed in February 2015. Their divorce was finalized about 2 years later.